In the hushed stillness of the English countryside, nestled amongst rolling hills and whispering willows, lies a tale steeped in chilling whispers and spectral shadows. A tale that is seeped into the very foundations of a place known as Borley Rectory, forever branded as the most haunted house in England. Gather close, dear listener, as we unravel the threads of this haunting tapestry, a chronicle woven with forbidden love, ghostly apparitions, and chilling mysteries that continue to send shivers down the spines of those who dare to delve into its depths. Our journey commences in the year 1863, a year after the imposing Borley Rectory had reared its grand silhouette against the sprawling Essex landscape. Picture, if you will, the idyllic scene. Children from the nearby village, their laughter echoing through the halls of the grand house, often played on the grounds. One fateful afternoon, a group of these children found themselves drawn to the drawing room, an expanse of space dimly lit and shrouded in an eerie quiet. Their innocent laughter faded into hushed whispers as they ventured deeper into the room, their eyes drawn to a chilling sight at the far end, near the looming presence of an old wardrobe. There, barely perceptible in the shadowy depths, a figure moved. It appeared to be an older woman, her eyes sunken and dark, her features gaunt and skeletal. A long, flowing robe, reminiscent of a nun's habit, clung to her frail form. The children watched, transfixed as she glided towards them, her feet seemingly not touching the floor. Terror seized their young hearts and their screams pierced the silence of the rectory. The rector, startled by the commotion, rushed to the drawing room, but found only the terrified children huddled together, their faces pale with fear. They recounted their encounter with the ghostly figure, convinced they had seen a specter. The rector, though shaken, attempted to soothe their fears, dismissing their claims as mere childish imagination, but fate, it seemed, had a penchant for weaving a haunting narrative of its own. 37 years later, on the eve of the rector's retirement, the past returned to haunt him. As he worked in his study, the blood-curdling screams of children, this time emanating from the courtyard, sent a shiver down his spine. He hurried to the window only to witness a scene that mirrored the past. The children, eyes wide with terror, fleeing the rectory grounds. Once again, they claimed to have seen the ghostly nun, her spectral form vanishing before their very eyes, and so the legend of the Borley nun took root, her ethereal presence intertwined with the very fabric of the house. Years drifted by like wisps of smoke, and the rectory welcomed new residents, a reverend and his wife, the Smiths. Shortly after settling into their new abode, Mabel Smith, while cleaning the very drawing room where the children had their chilling encounter, made a gruesome discovery. Hidden within the shadowy depths of the old wardrobe lay a human skull. Authorities were summoned, and though they were unable to identify the skull, it was determined to be about a century old and likely belonged to a young woman. It was as if the removal of the skull had disturbed a delicate balance, for it was after this discovery that the Smiths began to experience a series of unsettling events. Footsteps echoed through the silent house at night. Unexplained lights flickered in the windows like ghostly eyes peering out into the darkness, and the couple even claimed to have seen a spectral horse-drawn carriage gliding silently through the moonlit courtyard. Overwhelmed by these inexplicable phenomena, they reached out to the Daily Mirror, hoping to share their story and perhaps find some answers in the realm of the unknown. The newspaper, intrigued by the tale, dispatched a reporter to investigate. Accompanying him was Harry Price, one of the most renowned paranormal researchers in the country. Even during his initial brief visit, Price was privy to a series of strange occurrences. He caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure moving furtively through the courtyard, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared when he attempted to follow. As he neared the entrance of the rectory, a pane of glass inexplicably plummeted from an upstairs window, narrowly missing him. And to heighten the already unsettling atmosphere, an unseen object whizzed past the reporter's head, leaving both men shaken and bewildered. The paranormal activity only intensified during the Smiths' time at Borley Rectory. Objects were seemingly hurled by unseen forces. Windows shattered without explanation, and their daughter found herself inexplicably locked in a room with no lock on the door. Messages, scrawled in what appeared to be multiple handwriting styles, began to materialize on the walls, many of them seemingly directed at Marianne, the wife of the next resident. Driven to their wits' end by these relentless occurrences, the Smiths could bear no more. They fled the rectory after a mere 3 years. Their departure, however, did little to quell the burgeoning reputation of Borley Rectory as a cauldron of paranormal activity. The legend of the ghostly nun, the unexplained phenomena, and the cryptic messages all served to solidify Borley's place in the annals of the most haunted locations in England. The next chapter in the spectral saga of Borley Rectory unfolded with the arrival of Lionel and Marianne Forrester. Marianne, known for her sensitivity to the paranormal, seemed particularly attuned to the strange energies that permeated the very air of the house. From the moment they crossed the threshold, she reported a barrage of unsettling phenomena. An unseen hand tugged at her clothing. Disembodied whispers slithered through the corridors, and objects seemed to shift and move as if guided by an unseen hand. But it was the emergence of messages on the walls that truly chilled her to the bone. The messages, sometimes etched in an archaic script, appeared to be desperate attempts at communication from a realm beyond our comprehension. They were often cryptic, veiled in the language of spirits, but some seemed to be directed at Marianne herself, as if the entities inhabiting the house were striving to forge connection. Lionel, initially a skeptic, found himself drawn into the web of the supernatural. As he witnessed and documented the increasingly intense events that plagued his wife, objects levitated in the air defying the laws of gravity. Photographs revealed strange spectral forms lurking in the shadows, and the rectory itself seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly energy. It was as if the very walls of the house had become a conduit between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. The Forresters' time at Borley was marked by an escalating crescendo of paranormal activity. Objects were hurled with unseen force, windows shattered as if struck by an invisible hand, and Marianne was constantly tormented by disembodied whispers and the unsettling sensation of ghostly touches. The writing on the walls persisted, the messages becoming more frequent and more disturbing, as if the spirits were growing bolder in their attempts to communicate. One particularly chilling aspect of the messages was that they seemed to be written in multiple handwriting styles, suggesting that more than one entity was trapped within the walls, each vying for attention. Some speculated that the focus on Marianne mirrored the legend of the nun, as rumors swirled that Marianne, like the nun before her, was also entangled in a forbidden romance, adding another layer of tragic intrigue to the already complex and chilling narrative. After 5 long years of enduring these relentless disturbances, the Forresters, their nerves frayed and their spirits shaken, finally abandoned Borley Rectory. Their departure, however, did little to diminish the rectory's sinister reputation as a paranormal hotspot. The stories continued to spread, carried on the winds of fear and fascination, drawing the attention of researchers, skeptics, and curiosity seekers alike, all eager to unravel the mysteries of the most haunted house in England. Intrigued by the accounts of escalating activity, Harry Price returned to Borley Rectory in 1937, this time embarking on a year-long residency accompanied by numerous assistants, all eager to witness the inexplicable. Price, determined to unravel the secrets hidden within the rectory's haunted heart, brought with him an arsenal of scientific instruments and a meticulous approach to his research. Hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural, he meticulously documented every event, every whisper, every flicker of light, every movement in the shadows, hoping to separate genuine paranormal phenomena from hoaxes or misinterpretations. To prove the existence of that which science could not explain, Price's residency marked a turning point in the Borley Rectory saga. The paranormal activities seemed to intensify under his watchful eye, as if the spirits were aware of his presence and were eager to put on a show for their skeptical observer. Seances held within the rectory walls were met with a cacophony of knocks and unexplained phenomena, as if the spirits were responding to his presence, their ethereal voices echoing through the darkness. The writing on the walls continued, messages appearing with alarming frequency, sometimes even materializing while Price and his assistants were in the same room, as if the unseen entities were mocking their attempts to understand. One particularly intriguing message, simply the word well, led Price and his team to excavate an old well on the rectory grounds. To their astonishment, they uncovered human remains, believed to be those of a nun who had been long forgotten, buried at the bottom of the well. Her spirit perhaps restless and seeking vengeance.
This discovery seemed to lend credence to the legends surrounding the rectory, and fueled speculation that the ghostly nun was somehow connected to these remains, her spirit tied to the place where her earthly remains lay hidden. Mediums who visited the site claimed to see and communicate with the nun, further solidifying her presence in the narrative of the haunting, their voices trembling as they relayed her messages from beyond the veil. One chilling account involved a medium who claimed to have made contact with the nun's spirit. The nun, through the medium's trance, delivered a prophecy. The rectory would once again be consumed by flames, its fate sealed by a fiery inferno. A year after Price and his team departed Borley, leaving behind their instruments and their unanswered questions, the prophecy uttered by the nun's spirit seemingly manifested into a terrifying reality. In 1938, a fire, believed to have been accidentally ignited by the new resident, swept through the rectory like an avenging spirit, leaving behind a skeletal frame of charred timbers and shattered dreams. The fire seemed to mark the end of an era, a final punctuation mark on a tale of terror. But it did little to extinguish the flames of the Borley legend, which continued to burn brightly in the imaginations of those who had heard its chilling whispers. The rectory, ravaged by fire and time, was finally demolished in 1944, leaving behind only a foundation, a ghostly outline of its former grandeur, and a legacy of chilling tales that refused to be silenced by bricks and mortar. Even in its absence, Borley Rectory continued to cast a long shadow over the landscape, a specter of its former self that lingered in the minds of those who dared to remember. The construction crew tasked with dismantling the remnants of the house reported strange occurrences, their tools malfunctioning, shadows moving at the edge of their vision, and whispers carried on the wind, as if the spirits of the rectory were lamenting its demise. And to this day, there are those who claim to have witnessed spectral figures flitting through the overgrown ruins, to have heard the mournful cries of the nun echoing through the night, to have felt an icy touch upon their skin, a reminder that some stories refuse to be buried. The haunting presence of Borley Rectory seemed to extend beyond its physical boundaries, reaching out to encompass the nearby Borley Church, as if the spirits, displaced from their former dwelling, had sought refuge in a sacred space. Numerous paranormal investigators, armed with their cameras and recording devices, flocked to the church, drawn by its connection to the infamous rectory, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. They reported encounters with the ghostly nun, her spectral form gliding through the hallowed halls and other unexplained phenomena, lights flickering, objects moving, and disembodied voices whispering secrets from beyond the grave. The tale of Borley Rectory even reached the ears of Ed and Lorraine Warren, a couple renowned for their investigations into the most chilling and perplexing paranormal cases, including the infamous Amityville Horror. Drawn by the legend of the most haunted house in England, they made several pilgrimages to the site, focusing their attention on Borley Church, which they believed still held remnants of the rectory's haunting energy, its very stones imbued with the residue of terror and tragedy. Lorraine Warren, known for her psychic sensitivity, her ability to perceive the unseen and hear the whispers of the dead, reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering the church. She claimed to have encountered the presence of the nun, not a fleeting glimpse or a shadowy apparition, but a palpable force of darkness, an experience that left an indelible mark on her psyche, even amidst a career steeped in encounters with the supernatural. Ed Warren, typically a stoic and pragmatic investigator, a man of science and reason, also confessed to feeling a profound chill within the church, a coldness that seeped into his bones, and hearing faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls, as if the spirits of the past were trying to communicate their torment. Their experiences at Borley Church added another layer of intrigue to the already labyrinthine tale of the haunting, solidifying its place as one of the most well-documented and enduring paranormal cases in history. A case that continues to baffle and fascinate, to inspire fear and curiosity in equal measure. The Warrens' experiences at Borley, particularly Lorraine's chilling encounter with what she described as a black mass, a swirling vortex of darkness that bore a striking resemblance to the nun, served as a key inspiration for the demonic entity known as Valek. Valek, a name that would send shivers down the spines of horror movie fans around the globe, would later terrorize audiences in the Conjuring universe, its malevolent presence inspired by the real-life haunting of Borley Rectory and the enduring legend of the nun. While the Conjuring films take creative liberties with the Borley legend, weaving it into a fictional narrative, embellishing the facts and adding their own unique spin. The real-life haunting of Borley Rectory and the enduring presence of the nun continue to captivate the imagination, to fuel our fascination with the unknown and the inexplicable. The site of Borley Rectory, though now nothing more than a patch of overgrown land, remains a pilgrimage destination for paranormal enthusiasts, for those seeking a tangible connection to the other side, for those who crave a taste of the chilling unknown. And the stories persist whispered from one generation to the next, shared around campfires and in darkened rooms, ensuring that the legend of Borley Rectory, forever known as the most haunted house in England, will continue to send shivers down spines for years to come. A chilling testament to the enduring power of fear and fascination. So was The Conjuring's Valek, inspired by a real centuries-old haunting. The evidence, while circumstantial, is certainly compelling. The legend of the nun, the chilling accounts of those who lived and investigated at Borley Rectory, and the Warrens' own experiences suggest that there may be more to this story than meets the eye, that there may be forces at work beyond our comprehension. The mystery of Borley Rectory, like an open wound in the fabric of reality, invites us to contemplate the nature of hauntings, to question the boundaries between the living and the dead, to explore the power of belief and the enduring human fascination with the unexplained, with that which lies beyond the veil of our understanding, whether you believe in ghosts or simply enjoy a good ghost story. The legend of Borley Rectory is a chilling reminder that some places hold a power that transcends time and logic, a power that continues to whisper to us from the shadows of history, a power that reminds us that we are not alone in this world,